Well, Halloween in Gotham City is rarely uneventful, and it seems this year is no exception. Someone, or something, has played a hell of a trick on the people of Gotham. Trick-or-treaters are being terrorized in the streets by spooky, masked apparitions. We're not sure who's behind it yet, but the Phantom Stranger is waiting for you in the East End police station with more details.
Good morning, YouTube. This is the Prince of Milav, and I'm bringing you into DC Universe Online. That's right, this is their Halloween episode. So, after I get all of my skills in order again, I'll take you along to Gotham City, the home of Batman, and take a look at what's happening here for Halloween. Before we crash the East End police station, I figured I'd give you an idea of what the streets of Gotham look like now that Halloween is on the prowl. So, mostly what we've got is sort of a re-rendering of the same assets that we saw around Christmas, except they're orange, and we've got pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns in fact, instead of wreaths. We have the same lights blinking. There's Yes, run. We have neat little corn cobs appearing among them. We have fleeing citizens hauling through the streets. I don't know if that's not part of the event. I keep looking at them and thinking that they're zombies, which is quite common around Halloween. In fact, near me there has been a zombie hunt and a zombie walk, where people dress themselves up as a zombie horde and then go walking through the streets. It's quite an event if you had one near you.
You've got to help.
I'll help you guys later, don't worry, I'm picking up this quest very shortly. Let's go find ourselves Mr. Phantom Stranger, ask him what's going on, and then we'll clean up some of these sites.
Thank you for heeding the call. I sense the evil magic of the Lords of Chaos at work. The streets of Gotham City are plagued by masked apparitions, spirits torn from the depths of hell. I will bestow upon you a temporary consecration. You will have the power to put these spirits to rest.
So, your basic Halloween myth lore here. Ghosts, specters, etc. The thinnest veil between here and the next life. All that. Let's go find some of these and kick their teeth in so you can see what happens. Oh, neat. Escaped prisoner. Not for long. As with most events in DCUO, all you have to do is look for the orange light or follow the screaming. We'll just kick these things in the teeth. Teeth kicking. Here, have some telekinesis.
Why isn't anyone helping
It's crushing me!
I'm helping.
God, the bugs! Get them off me!
These critters are very loud, I should mention. And they talk a lot when you're in the area. As you can see, you have to take out 18 of these masked apparitions, and you have to help 13 trick-or-treaters around these little
so much. You saved
sigils
my
on the
life.
ground that spray out black and orange, amidst the interesting street filled with the jack-o'-lanterns that I showed you earlier. I'm going to go paper my way by obliterating a couple more of these manifestations of the Halloween spirit, and take you to the next segment that happens here. Something that I neglected to mention before was that there's also random jack-o'-lanterns just sitting around Gotham City that you can pick up and fly around with. Of course, you could also lob them, splutch, and they explode into pumpkin pieces. How, not very couth of me, probably part of the whole Halloween mischief. Alright, this is potentially the last one, so it should trigger the next part.
I don't know how to thank you.
Just say thank you.
Look out!
Way to bust those ghosts. Listen, I was just in contact with Phantom Stranger. He's got a lead on the source of this chaos. He said something about a magical imposter and childish revenge. Boy, that guy can be cryptic. Anyway, I've added the location to the on-duty tab of your communicator. He'll meet you at the Midnight Masquerade nightclub.
The interesting thing about this next part is that it leads us onto a masquerade in the middle of Gotham City. A bad guy who is called the Witch Child or something like that, I can't remember his name, has started forcefully inviting citizens of Gotham to his masquerade. Masquerades are a really interesting sort of event, especially in relation to Halloween, because during the 17th century, especially in Renaissance Italy, the masquerades were used as a sort of noble party, a sort of gimmick for the nobles to get together and show off all their opulence primarily by wearing beautiful regalia and masking themselves. One of the objects of a masquerade event wasn't just the dancing and the revelry, but it was also the fact that many of the participants had hidden their identities. One of the gimmicks that was introduced to these was the expectation that the guests would have to attempt to identify one another based on who they were and what they sounded like when they spoke. But because they were masked and hidden from view, it was very difficult to tell who they were, and there was a little bit of a social status thing going on. Like, could you tell what another nobleman or noblewoman was by the sound of her voice and the way that she acted at a masquerade? They started falling out of favor, though, when people started pointing out that these were highly opulent, very debauched sort of affairs. Now, in modern day, there's also masquerades that happen. Most of them happen at conventions, like Comic-Con and etc., but they don't really mimic the way that masquerades worked in the past. And in relation to Halloween that we're seeing now, one could say that the costume party, which is essentially in of itself a masquerade, has a little bit of a connection to this old practice. However, I'm going to say that not as so much as anything else, because costume parties don't have the same sort of opulent and gathering of the nobles thing going on. Costume parties are more of a Halloween event than anything else, designed to bring out and allow people to show off their costuming, which is a large component of what trick-or-treating in the West, and that is to give a moment to dress up as something else and then present your imagination and the way that you put your costume together. While there are many store-bought costumes on the street during Halloween, we see a lot of people put a lot of work into designing an outfit, into looking like a contemporary character, like be it making Iron Man's armor, or building yourself into Spartan armor from Halo, or doing an excellent makeup job that makes you look exactly like a recent cartoon character or a fantasy character. Well, let's roll on to speak with Mr. Phantom Stranger, and I'll show you a little bit of the fight that happens in the Masquerade Party. We'll see you there. Alright, here we are at the Midnight Masquerade.
So, Tickle, are you enjoying the party? That's right. We'll teach the rude people of Gotham not to make fun of us on Halloween. I am not an emo pilgrim. I'm a witch boy.
Clarion, you've lost control of your little prank. It's not too late to put things right.
Raven is a kindred spirit. Surely she won't mind lending her powers to me.
That didn't hurt.
Well, here we are at the Midnight Masquerade, and the bad guy, of course, is Clarion the Witch Boy. That's the name I didn't remember before. We'll have to... Most of this is all about beating the ever-loving crap out of him, and taking a look at the lovely confines that he's got going on here with jack-o'-lanterns, terrified patrons who are screaming, and his cat, by the way, who I believe actually engages in the fight at one point. I don't intend to spoil any more of this for people, especially those who are playing the game, so I skipped the intro movie, and jumped right into it. And now, I'm going to kick some butt in honor of masquerades everywhere and costume parties. They're, the modern equivalent for Halloween. I'll see all of you on the other side. I hope that you've enjoyed this little examination of DCUO. Soul projection down. As you can see, I've also got a weird pumpkin on my head. To all of you, good night and good dreams. Well, that's it for this episode. I just took down Clarion, and all I got was this weird purple-orange ribbon thingy coming out of my body, which I suspect is some sort of a boon. And here's the moon from a good old Gotham City, glowing in the darkness. I'm surprised they didn't do something interesting with it for the Halloween night, by, maybe a jack-o'-lantern or something, but maybe that's for next year. Well, guys, if you made it this far, I hope that you leave me a like, and if you have your own experiences in an MMO's Halloween, like, for example, what we're going through right now with DCUO, leave a comment below. And if you're looking forward to more examinations of how MMOs are taking the Halloween event and holiday into their virtual worlds, be sure to subscribe. And if you don't, the Goblin King will take away your child.